5:32. Welcome to this evening's regular school board meeting. It's open to in-person participation, available to the public via live stream on the Central Consolidated School District's YouTube channel. Item 1, routine matters. Call meeting to order and verify quorum present. Do a roll call. Ms. Haskey. Mr. So. Secretary Aspis.
Here.
All right. Vice President Montoya. Myself, we do have 3. We have a quorum. 5:32 again. Item B, Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Grego, if you would, please. Thank you. Superintendent, could you do a prayer, please?
Everyone bow their heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity to discuss the business of the school board and of the district CCSD. We thank you for the presence of all those in attendance, both in person and online, and especially at least 3 board members. We ask that you bless all the talk this evening, make sure it's positive, and make sure that the conversations are wise, compassionate, and all about the students. We thank you for this beautiful day and all the blessings that we have. In these names we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Welcome to all the guests, the administrators, students, and anybody online watching us. On to item E, presentation approval of the agenda. Everybody take a minute to review the agenda, please.
Mr. President, I will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Thank you.
All right, is there a second?
President?
Yes. Ms. Aspis, go ahead. Got a question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I wanted to, I know I'm not there physically, but if Mr. Manning is there, could we have that presentation? I feel it's important to start the meeting off with a good audience. And to amend the agenda to see if we could have his presentation first.
Yes. Okay. All right. Did you catch that, Ms. Aspis?
No.
Apparently, Mr. Manning has a prior meeting to attend for an audit, and once he's done, then that's why he's pushed down on the agenda because of that.
Oh, okay. I just figured if we, usually people start leaving, and I think this is important to share.
Understood. Thank you. And thank you for the
Thank
clarification. All right. So I do have a motion and a second. Vote a roll call. Mr. So to approve.
I vote yes.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
And myself, that's 4. The agenda is approved. On to consent agenda review. Consent agenda items. No presentation will be provided for these items. These are routine matters. Applicable documents have been provided in board docs and posted with the agenda for board and public view. I would like someone to make a motion to pull item B. We do have those students here so they can do a presentation for us. That's a unique trip request. KCHS Educators Rising. and their National Leadership Conference. I'm like to make a motion to pull that.
I make a motion to pull item 2B.
Okay. Second?
I second.
Mr. President, with that said, I'd like to modify to approve all the items on the consent agenda with the exception of B, or item B pulled up for separate action. Thank you.
All righty. Vote a roll call. Mr. So,
I vote yes.
Ms. Aspis,
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Ms. Matoya,
Yes.
myself, that's 4. So again, item B will be pulled for presentation. Item 3, possible questions from board and consent agenda items under discussion of items pulled from consent agenda. And we'll go ahead and again move down on that one. That was the only one that we have. So item 4, student staff community recognition. So item A, NMSBA exemplary award and outstanding leadership award to CCSD board members by Superintendent Steve Carlson.
So I kind of was hoping we'd have physically present all of our board members because our board, our school board, tends to show up en masse for all the various things that school board members are required to attend. And so every year it seems like those who are still here are granted the exemplary awards from the New Mexico School Boards Association. So I'm just going to read you what this says, and then I'm going to go ahead and present it to the board. And there are also some pins that go along with it. They can, lapel pins, I believe you can wear those. The New Mexico School Boards Association presents this exemplary award to Gary Montoya, to Christina Aspis, to Suzette Haskey, to Matthew So, for exemplary award for Central Consolidated School Boards of Education. This significant certificate acknowledges that this board member earned 20 or more hours of training within the 24-25 program year. And it's signed by Joe Guillen and Marvin Jaramillo, the executive director and the president of the NMSBA. Also, there is a separate award, the Outstanding Leadership Award presented for Matthew So. This certificate acknowledges that the board member has successfully completed 36 cumulative hours of training for level 2 of the leadership development program set by the board of directors of the New Mexico School Boards Association. Those were given on February 6, 2026. Thank you again, all school board members. If you would all just give them a round of applause.
Thank you for that. On to item 5, comments from the audience. Do we have any comments? No comments. So let's move right on to item 6, reports from the board and superintendent. Mr. So, do you have any? Do you have a report?
Not at this time. Thank you.
All righty. Ms. Aspis, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. With the San Antonio conference that we attended, I thought it was, there's something I was hoping that would never change, which would have been the Native American caucus. And so now it's changed to where it's labeled as rural, and I think it's pretty sad that we just sit back and allow that. It's I know there's a lot of things that within the School Board Association, not only New Mexico but also national now, that it's pretty laxed. a lot of ethics and things like that that, you know, I once thought that, you know, were upheld and was very proud to be a part of. It seems like it's very lenient and these are people that you know, that represent communities um, and then you know, represent students. And so, you know, with that leaving, and I hope as a board that we could come back and show that it is needed to have our Native American caucus back, and then to strive for a Native guest speaker in the spotlight for those general sessions, those three days. And you know, other than that, you know, some of the sessions that I did attend, most of it was the well, I did want to at least give a fair chance to one session that talked about going green and about renewables, and some of the people presenters that they had, they were way in Texas by the border, near I believe Laredo, and they talked about, you know, that they had an industry that was thriving at one point, and then I think it was some type of warehousing, and then all of a sudden it left, and so now, you know, they are just barely surviving as a school, and they have consolidated most of their schools, and the age range, you know, they pretty much put them in one huge building, and everybody you know, they're from bus driving to, you know, they all share different positions, and I thought, you know, this is, you know, we as we're going through what we're going through here as a district, you know, I thought, boy, these people, they really wanted to keep their schools, and they didn't want to send their kids away and to boarding schools, and I just really was amazed at how they have stuck together. And you know, so I as they talked about renewables, they've only reason why is because of the subsidizing that it brings, and so they're just grasping at anything just to stay, and because it's free money. And I, you know, there's situations like that out there, and I just thought that was really, I was glad to attend that session, and then the rest were pretty much on handicap or IDEA, and I think we have a great resource in Albuquerque, which is Ronalda Tome, and the knowledge that she has about this topic. I'm hoping that as a board that we could get her to come and educate us on some of these things, because there's a lot that she knows that we don't. So and that's just the bare minimum. I mean, other than that, it was a good conference, and really enjoyed being there. And I guess a side note, I did crash on the rental motorbike that I rented, and but other than that, it was good. Thank you.
You survived. Ms. Montoya, do you have a report?
I do. It is also about NSBA. I was able to attend that as a new board member. I learned quite a bit, but one thing that really impacted me was one of the general sessions. The keynote speaker, his name was Brandon Fleming. He has such an amazing story, and it really resonated with me, and I think reflects a lot of what our kids go through, although his is from an urban aspect. He had been pushed through the system, and it just took one good educator to see the potential in him and build him up, and then he in turn gave back to his community, and his story is truly inspiring. If anybody has the opportunity to look him up, Brandon Fleming, I almost cried. It was a really great speech that he gave.
Thank you. I actually reached out to him, so I'm going to be putting the superintendent in touch with him, see if we can't get him here, because I think our staff, our educators can certainly really see and understand the quality of students that we have that are certainly capable, because what he had said was that his circumstance and his environment created a human being that the educators would look past. They saw his environment, they saw his circumstance, and they didn't see the human being. And as board member Montoya said, it took one educator to actually look inside his heart and soul. And he was told that he was considered special ed, failing, but that one individual saw and understood that, come to find out, he was actually gifted. And he did, I think it was 2 years work in 8 weeks, something like that.
It was 6 years of work in 2 years.
Yeah, 6 years of work in 2 years. And he ended up going to Harvard, become the youngest debate coach in Harvard's history. And what he's done, absolutely amazing. And that's just believing in these kids. So hopefully we can get him out here to talk to us. One of the things I do want to say is that I have set up a trip to Washington, D.C., and to be able to do some advocacy, because we received a letter from NAFIS, which is the National Association of Federally Impacted Schools, of which I am the chair for New Mexico, which means I advocate for the 30 school districts that receive impact aid at the federal level. And that's a little bit of a problem in respects to the proposed budget, which could directly impact CCSD. And so we're setting up some meetings with some of the congressional and Senate representatives. I'm also trying to create an alliance with Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico, because we're the top 3 impact aid receiving states in the country, to see if we can't nudge our congressmen and our senators to fully fund impact aid. So I'll be going out there in May 10th through the 14th. And again, that conference that we went to was very, very inspiring, and got to network with a lot of different individuals from around the country. So that's my report as well. So on to item B, reports from the superintendent.
All right, tonight I have 5 requests for approval of gift or donation. The donor is the United States Army Recruiting Company from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they are donating to Newcomb High School a check for $1,500 for food for 300 community members that will be attending the First Responder Day event on May 5th, 2026. Pretty neat. The next one is from Brooks, and this one is for Shiprock High School Athletics. It's for the girls track and field program, a check of $500. The funding will be used for meet fees, snacks and drinks for students at meets, traveling costs, and any other track program expenses. The value is $8,500. Thank you, Brooks. From San Juan College Harvest Food Hub and Kitchen in Farmington, a donation to the Safety Net program for the Family Resource Center, which is the building we have just up the road on 6400, not right here, but the next road, main road. And that one is a value of $5,087. It is a commercial grade refrigerator and freezer. Very nice units. The next one is from Westates Supply, and it is donated to Newcomb High School Robotics for the robotics program. A check of $250. The donation will be used toward the student travel to compete at the first Tech Challenge Western Edge Premier event in Long Beach, California. And the last one is from Winters Construction in Farmington for Newcomb High School Robotics as well. Also a check for $500. The donation will be used toward the robotics travel expenses for the first Tech Challenge Western Edge Premier event in Long Beach, California. So thank you for all those 5, and that's all I have for this evening.
Very good. On to item 7, reports. No board action, and we're going to do the addendum to it by pulling that item B and allow the students to be able to do their presentation. If you would be so kind, please.
Seems the way to go.
Good afternoon, community members, board members, and as well as our administrators. We are Educators Rising. I am the lead advisor, Rain Dinecchi.
I am the chapter president, Alexander Gass. I'm the Ed Rising member, Kelly Foster Reed. So what we're going to be going over today is what is Educators Rising, what Educators Rising means to us, our accomplishments, our state competition results, our nationals, and we'll have the ending presentation with the questions. What is Educators Rising? Educators Rising is your educator. It has been a guiding force in my journey, building up my passions for teaching young children and providing a goal for my future career. Before joining, I was uncertain about what I want to do after high school. But Educators Rising helps me with what I want to accomplish after high school and help me with skills like public speaking and leadership. I've grown more confident in expressing myself and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. The organization has also allowed me to be creative, whether through developing educational materials or designing posters and making things for community projects. The members are also very supportive and always make you feel included. Even though we are a small organization, and the amount of dedication we have together makes up for it. Ultimately, Educators Rising is a supportive community that helps my professional and personal development, and I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. What I love about Educators Rising is that I feel welcome and careful within the community. The people are very nice and don't make me feel excluded. Before I joined Educators Rising, I was unsure about my decision to become a future teacher, mainly because I didn't know how to interact and socialize, and mainly I had difficulty with presenting things on my own. It was the members and my advisor who made me feel confident in my decision, and so I attend every meeting when I possibly can to showcase my dedication to this organization. For our accomplishments, on October 2025, we were able to go to Fall Rally. Fall, which was in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Pyramid. This event allowed us to develop leadership skills and connect with other CTSO members around New Mexico, who also share their goals and experiences. In December 2025, we decorated a tree for Festival of Trees. Our tree theme was the Cat in the Hat, which emphasized the importance of reading. The members helped create summaries highlighting how essential it is to read to children. Our tree was decorated with these messages and donated along with children's books. In January 2026, we traveled to Santa Fe to the Roundhouse and met the state representatives. We talked and discussed what they do and how they run the state. We also had picture taking with them to represent our school. In February 2026, we traveled to Albuquerque and competed at UNM. We competed and walked around the campus. It was a fun experience. It was meaningful to us that we got to showcase our talents and abilities to the judges, represent our school and our district.
We'll go ahead and go over our state competition results that was held at UNM at Albuquerque, New Mexico.
What we competed in. Drake Benali and Eli Smiley competed in children's literature pre-K. They created a children's book for ages 3 to 5. Kylene Foster Reid created a creative lecture on why schools should be more creative and how project-based learning is important. Alexandra Gass, me, I created an interactive bulletin board for elementary school students to help kindergartners learn their colors. Here's what we learned. We learned how to prepare for judging, be professional when answering questions and concerns I might have, and to have fun while doing it. For our rewards, all 4 students who competed all took gold in their designated categories.
Because our students took gold in their designated categories, they qualified for the Ed Rising Nationals, which will be held in Portland, Oregon. Our plan is to leave on June 19th from Farmington Airport and go to Portland. We approximately leave around 5:30 and arrive in Portland around 9:37. We will arrive back on June 24th by leaving Portland at 12:50 p.m. and arrive back in Farmington again at 9:42. The approximate cost for our trip is about $16,000. One thing to note is that hotels are filling up quickly. We have registration fees that we provided invoice for, meals, which may be 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, depending on the hotel, and we need to consider plane tickets and luggage. It's important to know that our students, some of our students have not flown on planes before, so this is a great learning experience to figure out how to communicate with others, provide the travel documents you need, and be organized.
So our goal for this trip is to build our skills with our public speaking and our ability to be a future educator, represent our district and our school, and to ignite our passion for the organization. Some other goals we have is to showcase our abilities in competition and improve our presentation skills. Also, because of this competition and organization, we are eligible to earn scholarships such as the Golden Apple. Educators Rising members pursuing education careers can apply for award ranging from $500 to $4,000. The Golden Apple Scholars Program is a teacher's preparation and tuition assistance program for high school, seniors, and college students, offering up to $23,000. On the topic of competition, I would greatly appreciate having the ability to go to nationals this year. I have worked very hard and my group has as well. As you know, in my state competition, I received a gold medal for my category in interactive bulletin board, making me qualified for nationals. Earning a gold medal for my interactive bulletin board at this state level was a significant milestone that reinforced my dedication to teaching, especially since it was my first competition ever. And I made sure to put every little detail into my bulletin board that would assist a kindergartner's learning needs. Being able to express my love for teaching in my own creative way not only makes me more passionate, but also gives me the feeling of wanting to share it with others. Supporting this trip not only gives us the chance to compete and showcase our abilities, but also helps us grow, explore potential, and discover our worth. My group and I have worked very hard and want to continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. That was the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask away.
Board Member Sodi, any questions?
I have no question except to offer my strong support for this trip and program. Thank you.
Board Member Aspas, any questions?
Yes, you mentioned that you were over at the Marriott, and proud to say that you guys were well behaved. And, you know, I was very impressed, and your chaperones were on the ball. And whereas I can't say the same for the other schools, you know, it was pretty chaotic. But, you know, people are watching. I stayed there, and I was proud that running into the gentleman from Bon Wilson, I don't know his name, but he said that everybody was in their rooms, and so hope you as a group, you know, that's the kind of behavior and, you know, the professionalism that that's expected. And so I thank you, and I hear you guys did really well. And I this is too bad I couldn't go, and I just saw the opening, and that was that, and I had to go on to my conference. Thank you.
Board Member Haskey, any questions for the students? Education Rising.
No, I don't have any questions, but it's good. It's really good that they're out there representing our school district. Thank you.
Board Member Montoya.
No questions, but I do want to say that was a very lovely presentation. Both of you are very well spoken.
I'm just glad that the two of you, and hopefully a lot more will follow in your footsteps to do the same thing. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and good luck. Thank you. So item A, Kirtland Elementary School, Judy Nelson, Amarillo, Kirtland Middle School, and Kirtland Central High School, progress and goals report by the principals. Which one? We already did that.
It's still counting, even though the report was later.
That's what I said.
Good evening, community members, faculty, CCSD, central office staff, students. Great presentation, by the way. Thank you. Board members, Superintendent Carlson, Board Member Montoya. My name is Jay Bushy. I'm the principal at Kirtland Elementary School, and I'm going to give you a quick little snapshot about Kirtland Elementary. All right, so what's working? 81% of our kindergarten students are performing at grade level on their Amira reading. I will share a little bit. Those are two teachers that have been teaching for 3 years. They're not 30-year veterans. It's pretty amazing to watch what they do. In first grade, 74% of the students are performing at grade level. And you can see second grade's at 43%, third grade at 52%, fourth at 48%, fifth grade at 68%, and my sixth grade at 36%. We'll talk about those numbers, I'm sure, as we go. Daily attendance rate's 93%. I do have 4 teachers who will be completing their micro-credentials at the end of May. My 2 kindergarten teachers will be moving to level 2. That's Corey Camerzelt and Ursula Shorty. I have 2 level 2 teachers who will be moving to level 3. That's Erna Woods and Rashinda Billy. Moving on to math, what's working. 94% of our kindergarten students perform at grade level. That is well above the state average. In first grade, 91% of our students, which is again, well above the state average. In second grade, 45% of the students are performing at grade level. Third grade is 33%, fourth grade is 30%, fifth grade at 41%, and sixth grade at 44%. All of those are right within the district and state average. I do have 2 teachers that are nationally board certified, but beyond that, they teach classes to nationally board certified candidates to help them become nationally board certified teachers. And that's Charmin Wheeler and Terry Camerzelt. Now, what's not working? Well, of course, enrollment. Unfortunately, it's following the district trend. In the last 10 years, we've lost 300 plus students. Up until today, this was last week, finding a candidate to fill our financial secretary position. We made a recommendation today. We cross fingers. So hopefully, we've been without one since February, which has been quite tumultuous, to say the least. Which leads to not enough time to get into classrooms to coach teachers on their instructional practices. IEP meetings, student disciplines, covering that role of financial secretary. And I will say the finance team has been phenomenal with the coverage and the support that has been needed, but there's things that, you know, day to day just definitely grind at it. The third grade data is not moving as I would like to see it, but it is moving in a positive trend. It's slowly increasing. And not having an assistant principal or even a dean of students, it would allow more teachers to receive the consistent instructional coaching that they deserve to be better at their craft. How will we accomplish those goals? Oh wait, did I miss a slide? Yes, sorry. Missed one. Next slide. There we go. The goals, increase our daily attendance rate to 95%. We were there pre-COVID, we've been there, we can all be there. It's educating our families. I'd like to see a minimum of 60% of the students in second and third grade performing at grade level, not the 45 and 40, 50%, 60%. I'd also like to have every teacher receive one-on-one coaching from an administrator, a minimum of 2 times a month, and increase the parent support to foster our attendance increase. And how would we do that? First thing is I'm going to implement a team of teachers who will be reaching out to these families. Nothing punitive, just what can we do to help? They hit 5 and 6 attendance or absences. What resources can we help you find? We're going to work together as a team to ensure we focus on student learning of the standards being taught in each grade level. We're going to do this through quality PLC meetings that are purposeful and focused on student data. Getting into classrooms and have the discussions with teachers about student discourse, the teaching of the appropriate standards, and the intentional planning that drives that. And for the parent piece, also through teacher attendance team contact with families so they understand better their role in their child's attendance. There is not a kindergartner that can drive themselves to school yet. So, and if there is, we are definitely doing something wrong. What are supports we need? For attendance, we definitely need clear direction how to access the attendance. Some of the reports have changed within Power School and they're very difficult to find. It's just the nature of the program. A simple way to contact families, and we do have that through Kinbo and with EDIA, but getting our teachers trained with that. And we want to make sure that we notify our excellent and substandard attendance families. Continuing our PLC trainings so that we can focus on student learning and professional development on the use of our educational resources that the district chose. Another support that would be helpful is an assistant principal or a dean of students. Even this could be shared with my sister's school across the river over there at Oho, who doesn't have an assistant principal. And I think we could work out something that would help us be able to get to those teachers a little bit more. So with that, I stand for questions.
Question from the board? Mr. So?
Yes, do you have any results on the math? I didn't see the math scores or the areas listed for improvement. Thanks.
NASP, or the NAEP, are you talking about? The one that we just took?
Yes, your math proficiency rates.
I do not have that one from the national average. We do not get anything for the school when we get that. If I'm correct, all we get, we don't have this year's, and we don't get anything from the school. We don't even get district. I believe we just get the state of New Mexico, which we took 2 years ago, so that's published, but we do not have that. But New Mexico is where we expect, or where we've been traditionally. So.
Ms. Haskey, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions right now. Thank you.
Ms. Asmus?
Yes, can we go back to screen 2? Okay, there's some things that you talked about about better than the 30-year teacher. What do you exactly mean by that? Are there new methods, or can you explain?
I'll do my best. I would say part of it, you know, they're freshly out of college. They're going through their micro credentials. They're getting the exposure to new strategies that are scientifically researched. It's not about a bigger commitment. It's truly about, you know, they're exposed to definitely new learning strategy or teaching strategies to reach students. And of course, I think that in kindergarten and even in first grade, although students are in the classrooms all the time, in kindergarten it's about building relationships. And they build a solid relationship day one. And that relationship they build carries over in the grade levels. As students get older, they don't want the relationships. They want their friendships with their friends, the teachers there. But in kindergarten, these are the adults they spend their day with. And so I really believe that relationship building they do the first week of school is, you know, accounts for a lot of this. And they don't like losing. The competition between the two of them, it's like, well, what do you mean I'm at 81%? You're at 82%, and they're upset that they're behind each other. So that battle, that internal drive that they have, we don't teach that. That's just something they have. So, and after 30 years, I understand. Sometimes days are tough. You know, hey, I made it to Tuesday. I got to Wednesday. These guys are thinking May and August. So, just a different.
Okay, I more with the identify, I guess, with the 30-year teachers. I think I don't know, it's just my opinion. I don't have the kind of educational prerequisites that you have, and but I tend to look at experience more, and then also with you mentioned about the math for the percentages right there, I-station math. I just find it interesting that from first grade it's 91%, and as they get older it drops, and that's a national average that we're okay with.
I never said I was okay with it. It's just that we are at the national average. But I will say this, that the curriculum definitely changes in second and third grade from addition and subtraction, and the students are asked to do a large amount of mathematical computations and skill development that it's difficult. I mean, they're tasked with a lot more than a kindergartner because the requirements they have in front of them. If you looked farther on, my goal is that we're at 60% or better. Not happy with this number. I mean, my teachers aren't happy with these numbers either. They want to do better, and they're willing to. We just have to find that magic button and that magic skill of what is it. And we keep plugging away every day to try to find it.
Especially in those two areas. But I really like what was said by President Montoya before about reading, and not so much reading, but comprehension. And then with math, to me, I feel like they start out solid, you know, with 91%, and then as they get older, you know, it's dropping, and by second grade, it's almost half. So, you know, I'd like to see the percentages of, you know, say our neighboring districts, you know, to see where we're really at, because I feel like those are two core subjects that is really needed, and and then back to, with the 30-year comparison, I feel lately, the trend has been, and I use this word, shake and bake, where people go through and become whatever profession, career quickly than what it's been before, where they have a 4-year or 5-year or more teaching and more prerequisites, and now it's just a fast track. So, and then also, do you have any percentages or any data on your, other than the IEPs, on IDEA?
What data are you asking for, ma'am?
Well, to equal their counterparts, their classmates.
I don't have it in front of me, but it's something that I can definitely get. And I could have that for you in a couple of days.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Board Member Montoya, any questions?
You've mentioned that the third grade data isn't moving like you would like. Is that something that you're hoping to resolve with the one-on-one time, or the continued the learning, the development time?
Yes.
What's going on there? Yeah.
Yes, to both. Definitely the one-on-one piece. Just offering suggestions to teachers in a constructive manner where they get to see it for themselves. Oh, I never thought of trying that. Something like that, and they give it an opportunity. But the other is through quality professional development, where they understand why we're looking at data, but we have to look at the right data all the time. And sometimes I don't think any of us look at the right data. We look at the data we wish to look at, and so by being focused on that, I think those two things will definitely help with that grade level.
Are there any issues with the curriculum? Are there additional tools or resources that need to be implemented in those classrooms?
I think it just comes down to them becoming familiar with it. We're finishing our second year with our reading resource, and with our math resource, the old one, some teachers were very well versed in using it, others were not, and it just comes from, it is a difficult resource at times, but teachers find ways around it, and they're resourceful, and that's where the 30-year veteran comes in. They have a toolbox that is as big as this room, and they can go, I have a tool for that, and they can go find that quicker than I know where my Phillips screwdriver is. So their experience helps with that, and we've had some shifts. I've moved a teacher in there. This year was her first year in there. Well, of course, it takes a little bit of time to get her feet wet again, veteran teacher, but when you're in another grade level for 4 or 5 years and then you come to this grade level, it's starting over.
Great. Thank you. No further questions.
Well,
thank you for your report.
I have no questions. Thank you for your time.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
President Montoya,
Yes, ma'am.
may I ask another question?
Sure.
Okay, on the absenteeism, the chronic absenteeism, I just hope that, you made a comment about, we don't know any kindergartens that are driving themselves. More and more, and some may look at it as a cop out, some may look at it as an excuse, but I think I myself was a single parent, and at that time it wasn't as difficult as it is now, and I'm sure there are situations out there that, and I hope that we approach in a way that, and remember that we are trying to attract students and keep our students, and not trying to drive them away. And because a lot of times, and I think in our area, um, they don't have the means for a private school or to go elsewhere. So I really hope that whoever you have in that area knows our family, our community well, and approaches that in a responsible way. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Judy Nelson.
Good evening, President Montoya, Superintendent Carlson, members of the Central Consolidated School Board. My name is Dr. Debbie Tom. I'm the president, or excuse me, not the president, the principal at Judy Nelson Elementary. So tonight we are going to look at the heartbeat of our school, Judy Nelson, our students, our student data, and some of the good things that we have going on over there that are helping students to thrive and to lean further into areas of need, but also to recognize areas where we are celebrating our hard work and growth that the staff and students have been making all year long. So our praise report is, so we, at the time that I turned this report in, we had 435 students. So I'm happy to report that we currently are 441 strong with our students. We have 2 administrators. I have an assistant principal, and then we have 34 certified teachers, 16 educational assistants, 6 cafeteria workers, 4 custodians, 2 front office staff, 2 people in the health aid in the health office, 1 health aide, and also 1 part-time certified registered nurse that we have there. So to speak a little bit of my staff, I currently have, there's a picture there, the most recently, 4 of them have, they were awarded the National Board certified certification, and this was the renewal of that this year. So they maintained their National Board status, and so President Montoya and Superintendent Carlson came to Judy Nelson to give them some recognition, and they are Printha Scott in kindergarten, Vicky Mallow in 4th grade, Kira Smith in 4th grade, and Lindsay Hawes in 6th grade. So to keep the momentum going, I have I'm really proud to say that Judy Nelson is piloting a DARE program. So we all know the DARE from the 80s and the 90s. This is more of a revamped version, and we have 73 students. 73 of our 6th graders are involved in this program. We are just about ready to complete the program at the end of this month, and we are planning a DARE graduation probably the 2nd week of May. And their students will there will be student winners of an essay about things that they've learned in DARE, and then students will be given a certificate and a t-shirt, and hopefully some other presentations from various people. Hopefully we can get them from the DARE program. Deputy Verhar has been very great with the students. We've provided him a place, and he's been very faithful in making sure that every week the students are receiving their DARE, the DARE curriculum. So we also celebrated our Rising Stars Assembly of Achievement. So what we do every year is we test with the IMESA, and it's basically throughout the year we do 3 assessments. So the BOY, the MOY, and the OI. So the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and the end of the year. And so we had students that made significant gains and growth So we celebrated by having a Rising Star Assembly, and we awarded over 105 kindergarten through sixth grade students who were showing exemplary growth in reading, ELA, math, or both. So that was that was a really good experience for them, and that if you see the picture there, that's part of the celebration. And so Judy Nelson has also maintained attendance rate with the lowest chronic absenteeism in the district. We tanked a little bit in March, but I'm happy to report. So we started off the month of August, we had a 95.5% of average daily attendance. On to September, 94.5, October, 93.9, and then so on. I don't want to keep going, but it's there on our on the slide there. But like I said, we sort of tanked in the month of March. We went as low as a 90.3, and then we're rejuvenating that again, and currently we are currently we're at a 94.4. So we're doing pretty good in that area, and we're consistently like Mr. Bushy said, we're getting word out to parents. I do a weekly call to parents, just giving some friendly reminders, not punitive, but just some friendly reminders. We love having your student every day at Judy Nelson. Remember, our day starts at this time. Please call if you have any questions regarding the attendance. So giving some information and a boost to all of our parents to ensure that we're here to help them. So if you go to the next slide, we're going to be looking at our data. We're taking the Amira for our kindergarten through second grade, and if you see that we had some pretty good rates that were exceeding. We were looking at kindergarten first and second. Kindergarten showed a significant growth of plus 27% increase with students meeting their benchmark, moving from a 44% at the beginning of the year to a 71% at middle of the year. So we're maintaining strong momentum in our kindergarten math. We're very happy we're exceeding the target growth for that middle of the year category. So we're jumping from a 22% to a 42%. So that was pretty significant, and we celebrated with the students and the staff as well, rewarding or giving recognition to not just the students, but also to our teachers that are in those classrooms with those students, making the difference. So first grade, they exceeded in both reading and math. They were demonstrating an increase of 12% in proficiency. First grade was exceeding in both reading and math. So there was a 12% increase in reading and a 27% in our overall math. Second grade, we saw some solid growth in areas reading, solid growth, but not strong growth. So second grade reading shows steady. It's a positive movement up to by 8%, from a 40% to a 48% at the middle of the year. And by reaching 48% proficiency, nearly half of the second grade class are firmly on target. So that was a very positive thing. In the area of math, we have some work to do, and we are continuing to address those needs, breaking down the data and making sure that teachers are planning accordingly to those areas of need that students are showing in the area of math. So moving on to third grade through sixth grade, we do the IMESA, and so we showed, if you look across the board, we see plenty of purple, some green, and then some other areas of red and yellow, some cautionary colors. But high performance in the third grade, they rocked it. So we saw third grade demonstrating a very strong foundation for their students. It is the only grade level where every subject, including reading, language arts, and math, that they currently are exceeding in those areas, from beginning of the year in reading 11 to 32%, and then in language arts 19% at the beginning of the year to 30%. That's a plus 11% growth, and then 0% in math at the beginning of the year, and at the middle of the year 13%, which obviously is 13% growth, but that's exceeding our target. So exceptional growth in 6th grade. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, exceptional growth in 6th grade math. Our 6th grade always hits it out of the park every year. They are an excellent team. This is the first year, to kind of give you a makeup. I have 2 veteran teachers in there. One, Mrs. Haas has been at 6th grade. She's been the lead for many, many years. So she has great expertise in 6th grade. But Mrs. Manning, this is her 2nd year in 6th grade, and then also I have Mrs. Cedro, and this is her 1st year. So that they've got that team mentality going, keeping some really good growth and exceeding. So for the beginning of the year, they had 16% to a 43% at the middle of the year. So that's a 27% growth, and so we're ecstatic about that, and we hope that that will continue to carry on for the NMASA that they just took about a week ago. So every single grade level is showing positive growth. 3rd grade in reading, like I said, we saw a 21% jump. 4th grade, their reading is strong with a 13% increase, and 5th grade showed consistent growth in all 3 areas on target. From the beginning of the year in reading, they were 22% to 29%. That's a 7% growth. In language arts, 15 to 20, so that's a 5% growth. And then in math, 11 to 17, and that is a 6% growth. So we've seen tremendous growth. I do need to address the 2 areas where they are needing support, and that is 4th grade language arts as well as 6th grade. They didn't lose anything, but they certainly didn't gain as much. And so in 6th grade, we maintained a 23% growth in reading. And then also, if you look at that, their language arts, specifically language arts, 23% at the beginning of the year, and at the middle of the year, they were testing at a 23%, which was a 0% growth. So while stability is better than decline, 0 growth is not our pattern. It's not our standard at Judy Nelson. And so our 6th grade team and our students are currently outperforming in math, which is great. I would just like to see that same ambition to have such exceeding growth would also continue on with our reading in 6th grade. So we're working on that. We attend PLCs every week and planning sessions with our teachers, and so we are addressing those needs. Definitely. Also, another area of concern was our 4th grade language arts, and that at the beginning of the year they were testing at a 33%, and they decreased to a 27% in the middle of the year. So obviously there are some needs support in that area. So we saw a dip, and when we correlate this with our reading success in this same 4th grade, they have strong reading success in that area. A clear picture emerges. Our students are becoming stronger consumers of the text. However, they are struggling in the production of reading, and we are definitely enjoying that. Engaging in that, specifically in grammar and in structure and evidence building writing. So we do have a plan for our improvement, and that's what I basically kind of said those things. What we're doing is we're targeting all of those areas of need and support. I've really struggled with areas because my boss, Mr. Deswood, he has kind of changed my thinking on how if we're seeing these areas of growth, and I can say we can always do better, we can always do better. So what he's done is he's really taught me to really pace myself and to not push in too much. In that, if you're seeing growth, they're doing something right, Debbie. So acknowledge the growth, continue that trend going. And that's really hard for me because I want to press on and I want to say we can always do better. Hey, let's gain another 3 or 4%. But what's working, if it's working, don't touch it. And I'm really trying to adopt that understanding. And I'm still not there yet, but I do vote. I do voice that to my teachers, and we're trying to in tandem really kind of keep our momentum going without me stomping too much on what they're doing in the classroom and what's making a positive outcome for their students. So we're targeting those 2 areas of need. If you look from 3rd grade and 6th grade, it was 4th grade language arts as well as 6th grade language arts. So we are targeting those 2 areas. The other areas were in 5th grade and 3rd grade. 3rd grade was exceeding in all areas. So was 5th grade. They were on target in all areas. So I'm kind of letting them keep that momentum and that pace as they see fit with some consultation, but really looking at giving them the benefit of the doubt and allowing them to continue on with what's working. And that is the end of my presentation. I would like to take questions if anybody would like to ask.
Ms. Hosky, any questions?
I guess just a question that I thought of today. Do you provide any novel language in your school?
We have 2 Navajo heritage classes and 1 Spanish heritage class.
Okay.
And students that are receiving those services, they get them for 60 minutes, Monday through Friday.
Is that 1 time a week or daily?
No, 60 minutes, 3 times, Monday through Friday.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Sounds good.
Mr. So, any questions?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much to the school, the principal, teachers, and staff. It really shows that the school is making a lot of progress, self-reflected over the past year, and taking a careful look at some of your strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. I'm definitely looking forward to the next round of assessment, and I'm pleased to look forward to what the results are from Judy and Nelson for this upcoming year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Aspis, any questions?
Yes. The same thing, your special ed and your IDEA, I think that's one those areas that we tend to not really focus on, and I don't mean to just we need to start doing that and saying their numbers and acknowledge whatever growth and start acknowledging those goals as well.
If I comment on that, so our SPED students, our ELL students, all students are included in the data that I just mentioned. We don't exclude. We don't say these are just the regular education students. They're exceeding their, no, all of our students, our entire student population is involved is included in the data that I just represented. So there is representation of our ELs, our special education students, and then our regular education students. So it's all encompassing. I don't exactly, like Mr. Bushy said, I don't exactly have the disaggregated numbers of how our EL students performed, how our special education, but the overall numbers, it is all encompassing all of our students who have participated in taking these assessments, they're included in this data.
Okay, no, that's great. That's great to hear. And also the fact that there's reins put on you. Is that something that is normal, Superintendent Carlson?
That's an interesting question. I'd have to reference what she meant by the reins put on her in terms of, I guess maybe the comment from her boss about maybe if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's not exactly what was said, but if it's working, don't mess with it, I guess. I think the comment is just to guide principals. I don't know about necessarily providing reins, like don't do these things. It's more like to help, just guide. Here's areas of need we've discovered together. They look at data together, and when they look at data, they make those decisions. I think that's really what that comment meant.
Absolutely. I mean, my reference to that was as administrators, sometimes we want to implement or try to fix even if something is working. And I think that was Mr. Deswood's message to me all along is, kind of step back, and they're doing a great job. They're exceeding or they're functioning at a proficient level. So what they're doing is working. So let's not try to tamper too much on that. And let's focus our energies on other areas, and that's exactly what I was trying to emphasize.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess as a board member, I'm looking at, I wouldn't, well, as a board member, I'm looking at the data. The reason for the data is to exceed and not just stay with normal. You want to see, that, like you were saying, that extra percentage, that extra, and that's why I'm asking Superintendent, is that normal? And not that, it's something that's punitive or, keeping you back. I'm just wondering if, as we take data that you would like to see what's, really push it and see what's possible. Thank you.
Board Member Montoya, any questions?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
I have none either. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Oho.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me tonight. I'm here to give us an update on Amarillo Elementary School. First off, we have the most wonderful kids in the whole world. You have never met more polite, respectful, talented individuals than in the halls of our beautiful little elementary school. Not only are the kids amazing, but the community is just incredible. Every single parent and family that I've met, they're so supportive of what we're doing, and they have this incredible level of family values, and it's truly an honor to serve this community. So let's go into what's working. The biggest thing that's working for us right now is our enrollment. We are growing quite a bit. We started the year in the 240s. As of today, we're at 280. There's still a number of families moving into our community. We are seeing all kinds of kiddos from Bloomfield, Gallup, and all over the area moving into the OHO community. And so when they do come, we're welcoming them into our school. We're having like a draft type ceremony where we give them a t-shirt and make a big celebration. So it's really, really fun to get new kiddos in the school. The other thing that's working is our instruction and the level of rigor. you can see that Ojo Elementary was 76th percentile in the state in math growth and 62nd overall growth in the state in reading. So our teachers and staff are doing a really good job. And then on the bottom right, you can see those are our middle of the year IMSA scores. And can't wait to see how the kids did on this latest round of testing that we're just finishing, because they're achieving really great things. We have a fantastic staff. It's a wonderful school. The next slide is what's not working as well as what we want. Our attendance rate and our chronic absenteeism isn't where we want it to be. And so that's something that I'm working on, but I believe in a restorative approach to attendance. And so I'm just trying to reach out to those families with support, and instead of punitive traditional measures, really try to figure out how we can surround those families with everything that they need so that they can get their kiddos to school, because these people love their children and they want their children. And so they just need some support. There's some infrastructure problems that are working against us as well. We had some really big rainstorms that washed out all the roads in Upper Fruitland. And then, you know, a lot of times the buses, they don't come within a mile or two of those houses. And so a number of the people can't get to work, can't get their kids to school when we have big rainstorms or significant environmental events. They're also real sensitive to spreading disease, you know, so that's something that I'm really working on, trying to get our attendance numbers up. Then our next thing is our goals. Oh, so these are our amazing royalties. So we had an incredible pageant this year. That's Holly-Anna Paul. She's our queen. And that's little Zoe Sabacue. She's our princess. So really, really fantastic environment to go to school. So we want to continue to increase student enrollment. That's a huge goal. We want to really build a strong Navajo bilingual program. When I got to the school, we actually didn't have any Navajo bilingual teachers, and I'm proud to say that now we have 2 amazing Navajo bilingual teachers. They're doing an incredible job. Not only is that important to preserve our culture and our traditional language in our community, but it's really helping all of our other instruction. In fact, just yesterday, I was in the bilingual class, and there was a kid who is nonverbal, and he's not speaking any English. Well, I couldn't believe it, but he's starting to speak Navajo, and he's saying all kinds of words in Navajo. So one thing is really helping the other. So I think it's a really important part, foundational piece to build our whole school. We want to continue to measurably increase our ELA and math scores every single year. We're working really hard to become the school of choice for this region, the school of choice for parents and families, and the school of choice for educators, so that we can fill our halls with the very best professionals and really ensure a high quality education and a magical school experience for every single kiddo every single day. How do we get there? There's our amazing cross-country team. We're actually going to host the Shiprock Marathon this year, so it's going to be super fun. But our instructional priorities are to have a joyful classroom environment, to have a very safe school environment, outstanding attendance, celebration of student achievements, and then of course, really good academic rigor and growth. So for the support we need, we've enjoyed an incredible amount of support. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. We have had amazing support from Mr. Deswood and Mr. Carlson. They have given us every single thing that we've asked for this year, and I think that's a big reason that we're winning. And then we've gotten great support from this amazing Board of Education. So thank you so much for allowing us to succeed and giving us all the things that we've asked for our kids. And then lastly, I just want to say thank you so much. It has just been an honor and a pleasure to serve this community and this school. I'm having a blast every single day, and I'm just so very proud of what the teachers and staff and students and community members are doing here. We're really doing something special at OHO. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and I'd entertain any questions you might have.
Ms. Haskey, any questions?
No, but job that you're doing. Thank you.
Ms. Asmus, any questions?
Yes, the same question about IDEA, special ed, do you take that as a whole or as part of your report now?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So just like Dr. Tom was saying, of course, those kids are included in all of our data and statistics. But more than that, I think beyond just test scores, the important thing to look at with our special education services are all of the wraparound services and opportunities we provide to support these kiddos. I'll tell you that our high needs classroom is incredible. I've been at a number of different schools, and a lot of times high needs classrooms can turn into something that looks like babysitting. Not our high needs classroom. If you walk in there any minute of any day, you're gonna see excellent instruction. You're gonna see kids working on the skills that they need to succeed in life. And not only just on the remediation end, but on the enrichment end, we have an incredible gifted program. So we really push those enrichment students as well, just to provide every single kid with the education they deserve.
Okay, and what are the special measures for special ed or IDEA? What are the?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's not the same.
Exactly. It's completely individualized for each kiddo depending on exactly what they need. And so we have an incredible special education team, and we really pride ourselves on not having a one-size-fits-all approach to kiddos and really looking at each individual kid, what they need, and then understanding what's working for them and how do we do that more to replicate that success.
Okay, well, thank you. And, you know, that is my community, OHO. And we want I mean, I just think it's great that, and it really shows how important housing is to an area. You know, with the increase in student count and I wish you know, this is some of the information that could go back to the tribe so that, and to know that this is really a plus over here and at OHO. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. You know, it is such a wonderful community, and it's beautiful to see it growing. And it's fantastic to meet the families that moved into those gorgeous new houses. When they walk into the school, they look like they've just won Publishers Clearinghouse, and it's really fun to welcome them into our community and our school.
Mr. So, any questions?
Sure. Yes, I do. One, have you been able to dig deeper into as far as what's going on with your attendance rate? Because it looks like out of all the schools in our district, the OHO is the one that had the big drop off. And number two, going back to the IMESA data that I think was provided in the previous report, it looks like the two grade levels that had the most challenges or issues were third grade and fourth grade. Have you been able to focus in and narrow in about what's going on in third grade and fourth grade?
Yes, sir. Yeah, both excellent questions. So our attendance, we're working with Tia, our new attendance coordinator, to truly understand what's going on with our attendance. You know, our average daily attendance is pretty good, but boy, that 120-day count, it hit us so hard. I mean, everyone was sick. The nurse had 8 kids in her office throwing up at the same time. It was awful. I'm glad we got the carpet out of there before that happened. So certainly that's an area of growth. Also, you know, I'm gonna take the waivers, and so part of increasing enrollment is taking kids who may have struggled in the past with attendance. That's okay. I'm going to give them another chance. And I also really believe in a restorative approach. So we had a couple of kids struggling with homelessness, struggling with family tragedy. I didn't want to just 10-day those kids and drop them. I wanted to extend that extra latitude and really work with those families. And so part of the reason our chronic absenteeism is a little higher is because I really, I want to keep those kids, especially kids that are experiencing hardships. I want them to have a nice, safe place to go every day when their parents can bring them. But I'm going to improve that, and you can hold me accountable to that. And then the second question about the data, 100% that's correct with the 3rd and 4th grades. And so that's an area for, intensive coaching, improvement. We're working with the our Empower math coach, Rachel Gurr, who's been in our classrooms for 30 days recently in the last few months, really helping to coach those teachers. And then we're having a staff change in 4th grade as well to accompany that growth. So, and that's another thing. I want to be 100% accountable for all of the things that happen in those hallways. And so I promise you this time next year, we're going to see a lot of improvement in those grades.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Montoya, any questions?
I do have a question. I really like that you celebrate your students, and I was just wondering if we're providing adequate funds for that, or if that's coming out of teachers' pockets or things like that to emphasize those small wins.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, my wife's a teacher, and when we did our taxes this last year and I was looking at her teaching expenses for our deductions, it was like, it's amazing how much teachers spend out of their own pockets to provide for kids. And that really speaks to how we need to improve our profession. But I'll tell you that this school district and our administrative team has been incredible with supporting OHO. And they have said yes to every single thing we've asked for. And I'm going to continue to ask for more because these kids deserve it.
President Montoya,
Yes, ma'am.
may I ask another?
Yes, you may.
So, I don't know what it was called, but they have the after school, Superintendent Carlson, and I know that in the data that they showed the last time or last year, it showed as OHO not utilizing, and of course that was under a different principle, and I asked the question about why. And it had to do with the classes of cultural training or cultural workshops, why more of that wasn't taking place after school. But other schools had that that type of workshop in their areas, and OHO was, I think, the lowest on that. Have we changed that?
Yeah, I'm really excited to report to you that we have changed that. So we have an incredible after-school program. It's run by Miss Crisp, who's a phenomenal education leader. And we brought in several elements that really celebrate our culture. So not only do we have one of our new Navajo bilingual teachers teaching an after-school program, and she's done everything from beading to kneel-down bread with the students. We also have our amazing 6th grade teacher, Miss Chester. She's a seamstress. I found a bunch of sewing machines that were still in the boxes in one of the portables. So we got them out, and all of the 6th grade kiddos are sewing ribbon skirts this year. So we've gotten a few pieces in place, but we want to continue that trend, and we want to have more offerings for our after-school program. In fact, at one point in time this year, we had over half of our kids staying for after-school tutoring and after-school programming. So super, super proud about that. The kids just love it. We're going to offer a really strong summer school program that's also going to have a lot of integrated Navajo traditional education as well.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. especially that last part, what you were saying. And then again, that's creating that environment that's very important to attract those kids, be able to educate them. One of the things, the superintendent and I were over there at the school, and as you remember, there was a little bit of an incident. And I am absolutely glad that you allowed that school to be truly a safe place for that community. And I certainly give credence and kudos to Ms. Aspis for making the comment one time years ago about the school being the hub of the community. And in that instance, it was a safe place and a safe hub for that individual. So I truly appreciate that, and it would be nice, again, in respects to the other outlying areas where you have Noshchitty or Newcomb, that we're able to do those things that you did. So I just want to thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
For your time.
Just lastly, because third grade and fourth grade are only reflected in your data, do you have anything more like for like pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, second grade? As far as like where there's, because they all feed into the succeeding grade levels. How are those grades doing?
Our strongest parts are in our lowest grades and our upper grades. So that's where we're getting all the strongest data out of. I have a whole bunch of layers of data, so I would love to send that on your way, so you can kind of see. But I mean, you nailed it. You know, you hit the nail on the head. That's our biggest area for growth is in those middle grades right there. But seeing kindergarten do spectacularly well, you just know that those kiddos, as they filter through the school and we get consistency of leadership and advocacy, which I'm definitely going to bring, it's going to lift up all of those kids.
Okay, thank you.
So if you would, just go ahead and pass that information on to the superintendent, and they can disseminate that to the board, please.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks.
Kirtland Middle School.
Good evening. Good evening, board members, superintendent, district staff, and principals, community members, and guests. My name is Sherilyn Lee. I'm the principal at Kirtland Middle School. I just want to run a couple of numbers by you real quickly. Our current enrollment is 380 students. We have 209 seventh graders. We have 181 eighth graders, 29 teachers, 42 staff members total. Just wanted to put that out there. We are the community school in Kirtland. So what is working? School-wide? We had some really strong professional development this first semester, and then of course into second semester. We had the PED come in and do training on MLSS layers 1 through 3. We also had a refresh of our Capturing Kids' Hearts, which is our social emotional program. And then we also had some very intense data-driven instruction with Rachel Nance. Our attendance improvement plan, I felt, is very strong. It's moving in the right direction. So for March, Kirtland Middle School was able to win the March Madness Challenge that was put up by Tia from our district office. So great job, KMS. Then I just want to give a huge shout out to our teachers who have 100% teacher attendance submitted. They submit their attendance every single day. And my staff, my office staff in Kirtland at the middle school, they do a great job encouraging and reminding teachers to make sure that attendance is taken every single day, because that's part of one of our root causes that we identified in our attendance plan. So the next thing we want to acknowledge is celebrations. We take pride in making sure that we honor our students who make AB honor roll, all A honor rolls, perfect attendance, and of course, you know, recognizing our athletes and their accomplishments through their athletic seasons. And then our teachers are encouraged to do classroom recognitions as well. I really want to say thank you to Sandra and her team at KCHS. I felt like when I stepped into this role at KMS, we had no collaboration. And over the last year and a half, we have been able to establish a communication system that is working effectively between both schools. I feel like we have a great alignment as far as goals. We want our kids from KMS to move up to Kirtland High School, so we're looking for ways to keep our kids here in the district, and then also, you know, support them academically and through athletics and their activities and clubs. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Isaiah Valdez. He has done an amazing amazing job at revamping our athletic programs, and you know, it's thriving. We have kids, lots of kids coming out, and so when we have more student athletes, we have students who are taking care of their grades and being in school as well. So that was my big shout outs to KCHS, and thank you for always taking my calls and listening to me. So thanks, Sandra. Okay, next slide. All right. As I mentioned before, we are a community school, so what is working at KMS? We do have a site facilitator that we do share with OHO. His name is Danny James. He's amazing. He is a member of our community, lives across the river, and knows what our students' needs. And then he reaches out to different resources. He is building his toolbox to make sure that he can help any situation that we have that come across either at OHO or KMS. Our parent engagement and PAC, we have lots. Our parent engagement at our PAC meetings and our SBLT meetings are increasing. It's involving staff, parents, guardians, students, stakeholders from our community. The biggest parent engagement events that happen are when we are talking about our 8th grade promotion ceremony. And like I said, we have been building relationships with Kirtland High, and they have given us the Bronco Arena to host that. So it's just kind of our way of introducing our students into Kirtland High and getting them excited about moving up to the next level. Okay. All right, what's not working? Some of the things that we've identified is chronic absenteeism. A lot of our students, as you know, can't drive yet. So a lot of our students come in late, you know, they're ill or they're home taking care of family members, and then we do have a lot of housing instability that occurs. You know, those are the common excuses that we're receiving. We also have an MLSS Layer 3 issue. What we were taught from the PED is not necessarily what's working at our district level, so once we're all on the same page, I'm hoping that the Layer 3 intensive support will be more fluid and we can help each other. Other things that are happening are student behaviors are increasing. We have a lot of outside factors. Over the weekend, you know, evenings, we have a lot of social media drama that comes into our school with bullying and different types of harassment. So we're having to play the social media police when we're supposed to be working on focusing on instruction. So I'm working with Mr. James next year as we start the beginning of the school year. We're gonna empower our parents to, you know, learn how to set time limits on phones and use PowerSchool. We're gonna do a interactive session on how to use phones properly and, you know, identify if your students are being bullied and bring those issues up to us. And then another thing we need to work on is our district discipline matrix. There's things on there that need to be addressed. As we're moving along in the school year, we're finding some of the topics are not on the matrix, and so we're having to, you know, just really depend on Mr. Deswood for his input. I know we have a revamping meeting coming up, so I'd like to share some ideas along with my assistant who handles a lot of the behavior issues. We want to make some adjustments to that. One of the other things that we lack at KMS is the professional development time, but that has been corrected with the new calendar in the upcoming school year. Our PLCs are going to take more work next year. We're going to revamp them and make them stronger and better. So that way we have those spaces and times designated to teachers, and it's going to be a non-negotiable this coming school year. And the other thing that I would like to really reach out and talk about is the communication between KMS and the elementary schools. I feel like we need some vertical alignment, some vertical understanding of when we have 4 feeder schools that come into KMS, and each school, there's different trends. They come in really strong with, some schools are real strong in math, some schools are real strong in ELA. We just want to kind of start building those communication lines so that when our SPED students come in, their transition meetings are happening, they're effective. There's things that we can offer at KMS that aren't necessarily available at elementary and vice versa. So I feel like our SPED department needs more streamlined communication. We do have students in SAT at the elementary level, and then when they get to us, we're not alerted a lot of times that, hey, this kid is in SAT. You know, we do need to continue special services for this kid or get them tested. So we want more communication from the elementary schools. Also, our 6th grade recommendation lists, the majority of them as of last week have been completed, but I'm still, my counselor's still reaching out to some of our schools and teachers who need to complete those. So that way we can do the correct placements for them for the incoming school year. We just don't want to throw kids in, you know, various classes. We really need those recommendations from our 6th grade teachers. And last but not least, this year, as you will see in the next slide, our students are coming in as real low readers. There's a select handful of them that are really low, and we are not informed from our teachers, 6th grade teachers, that, hey, you know, these kids need extra support. The only reports that I get is if I ask Amy Conley to run the IMESA reports, and that doesn't really tell me, you know, they're a low reader. So I would like to, I'll have my counselor reach back out to our 6th grade schools and teachers and ask for identifying those low readers, because we're working at KMS to implement a reading program, supportive reading program, so that we can help bring our readers back up to speed and up to grade level. Okay, next slide. All right, so attendance goals, some of our goals is our chronic absentee rate. We're hoping to bring that down. We're hoping for you know, a 92% daily rate of attendance. Like I said, we have 390 kids, so 92% is pretty, it's a overarching goal, but I feel like we can do it. And the ways that we can do this is to encourage our students to come to school and, you know, let them know that attendance matters. We want to be able to celebrate our students and making sure that we are recognizing them for their efforts by offering awards and incentives. Our daily attendance reporting reminders to teachers has been very helpful. That is something we don't leave the school unless it's 100% at the end of the day. And also, we want to make sure that we recognize and build student relationships with families so that they understand our tardy policy and our absent policy. All right, academic improvement goals. So from our beginning of year IMESA scores to MOY, we have growth in every single category except for 7th grade reading. We actually regressed. And that's when we looked at the data as a team, we said, okay, we have these kids who are not moving forward in reading, they're struggling. The majority of them are SPED students. So we are trying to look at ways for next year to improve our reading scores and making sure that we identify those students early on so that they can receive the support they need to be successful at middle school level. Okay, next slide. All right, the supports we need are addressing absenteeism, and I think with the help of Tia and her programs, as well as, you know, just making sure that teachers are knowing that Power School is live every single day, that gets reported. We're accountable for making sure we take correct attendance and accurate attendance. That has been our drive this school year. Making sure that we're utilizing our CEL program, which is capturing kids' hearts. We got a quick little refresher, but I feel like our staff still needs more. We want to make sure that KMS is welcoming, and we want to make sure that we're building a culture of, you know, kids wanting to be at school. Also, professional development, we're going to continue with our professional development support for all content areas. And we're looking forward with planning ahead for next year with the help of Mr. Deswood and just making sure that these are in alignment with district goals. And then, of course, we want to continue building relationships with KCHS. We want to take our athletic program, our academic program, activities, clubs to bigger and better, and bigger and better. We also want to make sure that we're not just working with the high school, but we want to establish those communication lines with our elementary school to make sure that we're giving our SPED students, our ELT students, the best KMS middle school experience that our families deserve. So that's it. Any questions?
Ms. Haskell, you got any questions? Ms. Asmus, any questions?
Yes. So on the one slide that you talked about having more support, I believe it's 4, maybe, as far as SPED and the list of low-level readers and would that support also be with Joel? I don't know how you say his last name. Balsuit.
I believe that Joel can offer his support by possibly encouraging the schools to get us those pieces of information that we need for those SPED students and low readers, so we can address those, especially if we have a low reader who is a SPED student. We want to make sure that we have all the supports in place for them. But yeah, he can, if he can assist with getting us reports or any other, because a lot of times the middle school does not have, we're not using the same programs as the elementaries to send reports home. We have something totally different. We don't have a mirror. At least at KMS we don't. And so any reports that can be provided by the SPED department would be appreciated.
Okay, and also I'm very concerned about the matrix that you're referring to. I can't believe we're still working with that. Superintendent Carlson, I don't know what the quick fix but I have some concerns about that, and especially when it was concerning to our board attorney as well. But I really appreciate your presentation. I feel this. I appreciate the honesty, Miss Lee, and everybody wants to sugarcoat or just speed right through, but I really appreciate your honesty and some of these, and we all want a great school, and but I think you're on your way to achieving that. And the chronic absenteeism, it's been ongoing, different sessions, different conferences I've gone to. It's been an ongoing issue, and all I can say is that before COVID happened, I can't say we were in perfect numbers, but it wasn't as bad. And what happened since then, I think maybe, this is just my opinion, maybe because school was closed, and maybe that just showed students or families as well that education was important to keep going. I don't know. But thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Mr. So.
Yes, going back to your test scores and data, have you been able to dig deeper or drill deeper into what's going on with seventh grade reading? I was actually just looking at your beginning of year and middle of year, and it looks like you've actually had some pretty good results in terms of, it looks like eighth grade language arts had a big jump, as well as math and also reading.
Yes, our eighth grade ELA team is very strong. And we do a lot of encouraging there's a lot of growth that happens in the second semester of seventh grade. So I'm excited to see what that result looks like. On May 5th, that's when we're gonna take our EOYs. But yeah, it was very troubling to see that our reading scores were that low and that it had regressed. I don't think I've ever seen it go backwards. But that's what alerted us to look at individual scores and look into their IEPs and look at ways to start addressing this, because we'll have those seventh graders as eighth graders next year. And I don't want to send them to Sandra, you know, with those issues. We want to make sure that they're caught up and they're ready to start excelling in high school, because there's so many programs available to them that we don't want that to be a hindrance.
Okay. So what is the current enrollment at Kirtland Middle School?
390.
Okay, wow. Because I'm actually looking at New Mexico Vistas. It says last year your enrollment was 368. So you've had an increase.
Yes, and much like Seth said, OHO is increasing. So as students are enrolling there, older siblings are coming over to Kirtland Middle School. So we thought we were going to stay around 340, 320 last year, but we actually had an influx of kids. We had about 60 kids just come to Kirtland Middle, and the majority of them that do come, about a third of them I should say, are about, they do have IEPs. But our SPED team is amazing, and so, you know, they wanted a place where their student can get services, be heard and valued, and so we do have those numbers from the register that people come in.
And with your deeper into school in terms of student relationships with teachers, as students feeling valued or
program, and we were waiting on, I'm gonna be honest, we were waiting on the district to bring that program back, and they were going to do a district training for new staff, but that fell by the wayside. So I was given permission to go ahead and do that training in February, and that was something that was really helpful for our staff, even though they refresh and recharge, got motivated to continue doing the work and making sure that our place was welcoming.
As far as like chronic absenteeism, is there anything else that our district can do to help improve that, at least what we have control over, in terms of like choice or something of that sort?
I really feel like we are so busy in front office. Like I make a list of names of parents and I'm lining them up for 5 o'clock, trying to contact them and just let them know, hey, your kid hasn't been here. There's something wrong. And can we help? If I'm not doing it, my counselor's doing it. There's different people. But I really think with competitive programs between the schools, I know my whole office is very competitive. So we get on the intercom and we, okay, we don't want to do TBA and Newcomb, and we try to make it competitive and we want to make there. Our secretary is so good at recognizing the kids that come in late. She, we're in this challenge. I need you here on time. Can you make an effort to come? And then if they do, she's so happy. So, she makes a very special effort to get them a treat, or just tell them thank you for being here on time. That's going to help. But not only that, we want you here on time so that way you can get the most benefit for your education. So it's just those extra little things that we're doing, I'm hoping is making a difference. But I mean, anything will help.
again, thank you. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to what the results are on the next.
Any questions?
I do have a couple questions. One, with the social behaviors and the cyberbullying, are the kids getting any sort of assemblies and things like that addressing cyberbullying and, you know, just trying to mitigate all that behavior? Because I know with teens.
Yeah. So in our kids' hearts, they do go over the values, you know, respect, just, you know, how to be a good student, being respectful to others, and building those relationships not only with your teachers but with students. So in there are little portions of how to address properly. But of course, you know, a lot of times our parents are just handing over a phone and not making sure that there's limitations or, you know, educating their own child on how to be. You're not allowed to do that. That's probably. So we have a lot of incidents regarding bullying and stuff. So we're going to make a conscious effort next year. That's already in one of our plans to bring in assemblies and presenters. We do have, I think it's May 14th, we do have we're collaborating with the Kirtland Resource Center to bring in some speakers and they're to the kids. We've arranged it to where the speakers will come to an assembly form, and after we'll be in our KMS courtyard with an outdoor picnic. And we'll have different resource tables, educating parents on, you know, making sure that you know, just encouraging parents to be mindful of their kids' activities and to help them be good students.
Definitely. And then I did just want to make a comment and say thank you. I do have a student at your school, and we moved her from the farming district, and the growth in her academics and her attitude, the leadership that you have there, and the drive that the teachers have at your school. I mean, it's a 9-day difference with my student, and I just wanted to say thank you for your efforts.
You know, so I appreciate it. I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kirtland High School. Are you not on there? Already did. Yeah. All right. I was only reading off the script. My apologies, Steve. We'll blame this guy.
Well, they do have a state championship, so.
Oh yeah, kudos to your state championship girls basketball team. That's acknowledgement. There you go. All right, on to item B, CCSD attendance and chronic absenteeism. Update by Tia Johnson.
Numbers. So